to sleep. So I think maneuvering around Trick Room is going to be very, very important. But it seems like neither player has any interest going into Trick Room whatsoever. We see 2 special attackers and 2 Tailwind support Pokemon on the field.
Yeah, really interesting when you've got down the threat of Trick Room there, and that could completely flip Tailwind on his head. But yeah, there's that Gholdengo and that Terra Dragon Hopper there, going for the potential to reduce the damage coming in from that Typhlosion, even when Sunny Day is set up.
Yeah, now the question is there going to be just a Tailwind and Eruption coming out from Luca? Of course, Michael has to respect this, therefore selecting the Terastallization and probably will set up a Tailwind of his own.
But first, there's that Gholdengo going into its roaring dragon form instead, as if it wasn't good enough. So, now going into the next turn, it's going to be that Prankster user, Whimsicott, with that Tailwind going up first. And now Typhlosion can go for an attack instantly here. Of course, it's going to be that Eruption doing massive damage across the board. Kilowattrel with its Focus Sash can hang on, and Gholdengo with its nice Terra can also hold on here. It's going to be Kilowattrel following up, matching that Tailwind now. Gholdengo can start to go for an attack this time, but has it been that Shadow Ball? Has it been that Make It Rain? Yes, it is. Typhlosion gets away with it, and Whimsicott down to its Focus Sash as well.
There was also the option to go for Shadow Ball to knock out Typhlosion, but Michael deciding that this might be even better because you are kind of locking Typhlosion in. It is locked into Eruption and now reducing the base power already. And because Kilowattrel was able to match Tailwind, now Kilowattrel probably faster than both Whimsicott and Typhlosion, though has to watch out for Encore that could come out of Luca's side. So yeah, another Eruption wouldn't do that much damage, but you don't want to lose Gholdengo to a Moonblast if Luca predicts kind of a defensive play coming out of Michael.
Yeah, there's the downside of Terra Dragon, and there's the Encore that you spotted there, Marcus. Into this Kilowattrel now going to have to go through another Tailwind and basically being useless on this turn.
But because Typhlosion is forced to follow up with an Eruption, this is actually not that bad for Michael. So he knew, well, even in the worst case, if Encore is coming out, Kilowattrel will be knocked out and I get the free switch in.
Yeah, really nice call out there. So it doesn't look that great, but yeah, you definitely don't want to take an Eruption for your troubles in the back. Also could have just been a Sunny Day Eruption as well if you'd switched into, would have taken even more damage. But the question is, Marcus, what do you go into here? Because Ursaluna just does the damage, but Incineroar resists the fire.
Yeah, I think you gotta go for Incineroar right here. Then with 2 Pokemon resisting fire-type attacks and with the fact that Typhlosion is already a little bit weakened, I think this could be a crucial turn for Michael to maybe expect or to predict what Luca is going for. And this has the option for a potential double knockout if Michael can call the turn correctly.
Whimsicott is going to get out of there, turning up the heat a little bit more with Incineroar. Lowering the attack stat of Michael's own Incineroar and getting into a position where it can start to fake out this Gholdengo. But not before it switches out, actually. Now revealing the 4th Pokemon in the back, that's Ursaluna. But is it going to catch a fire move?
Oh, it absolutely will. Eruption coming out from Typhlosion. How much damage is it going to do? Wow! Over half HP. And now the question is, does Michael even want to knock out Typhlosion? It doesn't seem like it. Incineroar instead going for a U-turn, some repositioning, and it's quite delicate decision by Michael. They're keeping this Typhlosion around. I mean, it has already taken quite a bit of damage, but Eruption is just still so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And now there's no speed control you can get around it because Tailwind has been matched on either side. On top of that, Luca still has preserved the Tailwind user in the back as well. So even when it goes down, Luca can still bring it in and get it right back up again. So just the Typhlosion's natural speed here being really key in this matchup.
Yeah, Typhlosion looks like it's in a prime position here to just keep going for more and more Eruptions, and maybe now the decision to let Typhlosion stay on the field will come back to bite Michael a bit.
But first, Incineroar doing what it does best, getting back in there to take some fire moves and switch in. A bit of a repositioning for Michael here, going for the Protect on the Gholdengo. Hopefully Incineroar gets out of this turn unscathed, or relatively, I suppose, facing down this Eruption that's coming out for the 3rd time. Yes, with that Assault Vest, it's going to be able to struggle that off really nicely. And a great Protect there, knockoff going into that slot. Now, how can Michael get himself into a better position here?
Now, maybe he can capitalize on the fact that Fake Out is active, so you can shut down this Incineroar if you want to, and maybe finally go for a KO on Typhlosion. However, we know the final Pokemon for Michael is Ursaluna that is already damaged, and Luca still has 1 more Pokemon waiting in the back, so you really gotta make something work here.
Okay, Luca's not getting any room for Mishael to try and set up, going straight away for that eruption, saying, if you're going to try and set up, I'm going to make sure you're paying for it with all this damage. But Mishael going for that Shadow Ball, now gets the KO on that troublesome Typhlosion.
Finally, it goes down, but the damage has already been done. Mishael, yeah, going down so low in HP on this Gholdengo. And as long as Luca can navigate those next couple of turns nicely, even with his own Ursaluna now coming out, it seems very, very difficult for Mishael to deal with Ursaluna and also with Incineroar.
Yeah, that's a tough ask for sure, particularly as you've already spent the Terror on your Gholdengo, so you can't Terror your Incineroar out of your Ground-type weakness either. So healthy of other Pokemon on Luca's end in that Ursaluna. It seems like it could just rip through Mishael's team, especially given Whimsicott could come in later.
I think the one thing that Mishael maybe is trying to set up here is bringing his own Ursaluna in a way where it can naturally outspeed both Incineroar and Ursaluna Blood Moon.
But first, the Make It Rain instead here. Not wanting to resist or risk even that switch. Incineroar is going to take that very comfortably here. But let's see which Incineroar moves first on this turn as well. Because it could be that Mishael gets a fairly safe switch in here. But no, Flare Blitz into the Ursaluna. Great protect from Luca there. Expert defensive play, preserving your win condition. And it's going to be the pivot on Luca instead. Going after Mishael's Incineroar as well is so good too. You can get in that Whimsicott really nice and safe now to start threatening those moves.
Yeah, and now you ensure that Whimsicott can set up Tailwind, Ursaluna will outspeed Gholdengo and Incineroar, and you can go for a powerful Hyper Voice to finish off both Pokemon over on Mishael's side. So I feel like, yeah, Tailwind and Hyper Voice is just right there. You can see Mishael even considering the forfeit. Yeah, knowing that, yeah, okay, this game is probably over, but, I mean, there's always the chance that maybe your opponent makes a mistake.
So Luca's going to go for the Terror here. Most likely that Terror normal on the Ursaluna, just in case Mishael has some ridiculous amount of bulk on their Pokemon, getting that maximum amount of damage with that Life Orb as well. And as you said, we've got Hyper Voice on this Ursaluna, and that should be able to clean up the board.
Yeah, it must feel so good to click this Tailwind, Terra, Normal, Hyper Voice. Life Orb boosted, Gholdengo goes down, Incineroar goes down, Luca Ceribelli on the verge of winning this game 1.
For sure, yeah, this Ursaluna does not want to face what's right ahead of them at the moment in what Luca has. You've still got Incineroar on the back as well for Intimidate and Fake Out. Yeah, we are looking definitely at a game 2, and Mishael needing to kind of think things through for that second game. Question is, Marcus, what is it that Mishael can do here? Because that on-call lot from Whimsicott was so strong.
Oh yeah, Ursaluna, I think, on Mishael's side, just wasn't able to do anything. It switched into a eruption, took 50%, then it switched out again, and then it was never to be seen. So Mishael has to find a way to set up an environment where Ursaluna can deal damage. Now, we can expect Ursaluna on Mishael's team composition to be pretty fast. It might even be faster than Incineroar or Ursaluna Blood Moon over on Luca's side. And we didn't get to see that as Mishael, yeah, found himself always at a speed disadvantage there in that end game. Once Kilovatro went down, but Whimsicott was still around for Luca. So maybe the Trick Room could be the way for Mishael to approach this matchup. Seeing the approach from Luca off game 1, that would have been better, but at the same time, Luca can also flip the script, can bring their own Trick Room Pokemon with Farigiraf, for example, to counter that. So yeah, it's not that easy. And I think just with Mishael's team composition, he's kind of forced to terrestrialize Gholdengo into Dragon to gain an additional resistance to Fire-type moves. But Luca was able to capitalize on that so nicely with the Typhlosion in that first game.
For sure, just firing fire moves into it. It still worked, didn't it? Now, here we go. We are in our second semi-final, game 2 now. Luca, 1 win away for taking it and getting to the final. Farigiraf and Ursaluna for Luca, and Kilowattrel, Porygon 2 for Mishael.
Wow, I've been playing with this team for quite a bit, and I don't think I've ever gone for Kilowattrel and Porygon 2 as the lead Pokemon, so yeah, maybe a little bit of a risk there by Mishael identifying that he has to make something happen. Now, importantly, Porygon 2 getting the special attack boost from download, that can be very, very crucial.
It certainly can, because when you are hitting that Ursaluna on the more squishy special defensive side, that damage really adds up, particularly given the fact that Porygon 2 could go for that Terra Fighting Terra Blast, which would be really strong, but it would be completely null and void into a Typhlosion. But Michael does not fall for the bait. Switching in that Incineroar instead, just as the other fire type comes in. Really great switch there, especially also into this Frigoraph, offering super effective damage into either slot. Oh, it's going to be the Air Slash though to the Frigoraph. Do we see a flinch? Not quite. Hyper Voice first though, looking like an easy 2-hit KO, especially after that Throat Spray on the Frigoraph here. So no Trick Room set, nor any Tailwind set.
Yeah, but with Incineroar joining the field, now there could be an opening for Michael to make a read here. Maybe either set up Tailwind and go for a big knockoff into Typhlosion, or for a potential double up into Farigiraf if he's expecting some sort of Trick Room play coming out from Luca. However, there is Protect as an option on Farigiraf as well, and it is very, very crucial now that Michael does not set up Tailwind as Luca sets up Trick Room. But with the moves that we just saw Michael lock in, that would be an option.
Ooh, no Terra either to resist any sort of attacks on that Frigoraf's end. Just Tailwind, just knockoff. Is it enough? Oh, it was so close! Michael relying on that damage, and it's just an eruption as well. Not even a safer fire move. Luca calling that turn so well. But what has Frigoraph gone for? Is it that Trick Room? No, it's a Hyper Voice instead. So dealing a lot of damage to that Incineroar, but crucially not setting the board up in Michael's favor.
Okay, this could have been really bad for Michael had Luca set up the Trick Room, but instead going for the more consistent damage option there. And now, as Kilovatral is locked out, Ursaluna could come in, and then Michael would threaten 2 KOs. Headlong Rush into Typhlosion, knockoff or U-turn into Farigiraf would be KOs. And we already just saw that Incineroar over on Michael's side outspeeds the Typhlosion under Tailwind. So the speed advantage is now in Michael's favor, and but he has to make something work now. Because there could be Whimsicott waiting in the back for Luca to kind of match this Tailwind very, very soon.
That's a really good point, actually. You've got to be so careful as to how you use your resources here. Because, yeah, with the Whimsicott, that Ursaluna can outspeed everything, right? And now Kilowattrel, one of the speed control options down for Michael. So where is this Ursaluna going to target? At least it's fresh on the field with some health.
Is it Whimsicott waiting in the back for Luca?
It is. There it is. Okay, so this is going to be able to take on those attacks so well, especially given that Focus Sash. Nailing a KO as well on the Frigoraph, never a bad thing, right? Especially as Incineroar can come back a little bit later, offer those fake outs. Very safely now, because that Armor Tail ability is off the field. But we've still yet to see this Ursaluna go for an attack here. Either way, though, it's probably going to just be chipping the Focus Sash on the Whimsicott, but if it's a Facade, it's obviously going to do a little bit more and would quite be nice to get that bit more damage in there. Headlong Rush, unfortunately, because it does lower your defenses a little bit, making it a little bit more vulnerable. Maybe pressuring Michael to switch it out on the following turn, but Luca now has to switch in at the moment.
And because Porygon 2 was saved by Michael in the very first turn, it's still at full HP, and so Luca, who is forced to go into one of his special attackers, now likely won't be able to get a knockout onto the Porygon. Now, of course, there could be a potential of a Sunny Day and Terra Fire Eruption. However, as we know right now, Michael has the speed advantage from the Tailwind. So Ursaluna is currently outspeeding Typhlosion, forcing Whimsicott to go for a Tailwind if it wants to, ensure that Typhlosion gets to move. But because of that, Michael could also protect on the Ursaluna and just set up a Trick Room that way.
It certainly could, actually, but then you leave yourself open to that Encore strategy as well that could come out. But here we go. It's actually the Terra Fire Eruption coming out from Typhlosion. Is it that Tailwind? Is it that Sunny Day? Needs to be this Tailwind to outspeed this Ursaluna. But there's what you called there, Marcus, the Protect on the Ursaluna. Does the Trick Room go up here? It is that Tailwind. Porygon 2, in theory, should survive this attack. It's gonna be strong, though. Let's see if it actually does, because this is very powerful. Choice Specs, Terra Fire boosted Eruption into Porygon 2, 192 to 56. Yes, it survives, but it's not a Trick Room. Terra Blast instead into that Typhlosion, doing a lot of damage.
Predicting the Terra Fire and going for the damage over the Trick Room because he did not want to be caught into some Encore endgames. However, now Typhlosion considerably weaker with Eruption Is it enough to knock out Porygon from this range?
Well, you've got to consider the Blaze ability that's now active.
Yeah, exactly.
Given that Typhlosion is below 30% HP, so it's really hard. I can't get my head around the calculations of it all now.
Because if it is enough for the knockout, then Luca can go for an Encore into Ursaluna to lock it into Protect, and then also use Eruption to knock out Porygon, which would then leave Michael with only Incineroar. And there's still the Ursaluna Blood Moon waiting in the back for Luca.
Oh, so it's the Sunny Day instead here, of course. So now you really guarantee that Eruption damage. But Ursaluna didn't switch out. It's still there. But this is going to still be a lot of damage. Porygon 2 definitely going down. Does Ursaluna hang on? No, it doesn't! Double KO for Luca Ceribelli. This Typhlosion can do whatever it likes. Whatever the HP, whatever the situation, it takes those KOs.
Wow, just like at LAIC, the Terra Fire Typhlosion prevails. Sunny Day Eruption, even at such low HP, gets the double knockout, and with that, Michael down to his last Pokemon Incineroar. But this game is over.
It certainly is. Luca has played this Typhlosion so masterfully, and we have another Italian getting into the final. It is Luca Ceribelli!
Overcoming what he thought was a pretty tricky matchup against one of the best players in the world. But, of course, Luca is one of the best players in the world himself. In fact, in 2024, he was